If you've been following my recent videos and blog posts and social media, you'll know that I've just got back from pretty close to a month holiday in Thailand, where I went over to train and just take a bit of a break. And it's something that I don't like to do Those of you who have been following me on social media and on my videos and my blog would know that I've been in Thailand for almost a month. I've only been back a week. And while I was in Thailand, what I noticed was that my manifesting powers were off the charts. And, what I put that down to was the fact that, I had the mental space to be able to pay attention, I think, more than anything else. I'm not the sort of person who can go and sit on a beach for 2 weeks and bliss out. It's not really my nature. So I go to Thailand and I train in Muay Thai because I physically deplete my body, which puts me in the space where I can actually sit still for 5 minutes and reflect. Anyway, so my routine over there is I train for a couple of hours in the morning and then I train for a couple of hours again in the afternoon. And so I have all this free time. I made it a point of not working while I was over there. In the third week, I did a handful of Skype sessions, but mostly, it was a non-working holiday. And so I had all this free space and, every day 2 or 3 things would show up almost within the hour of me thinking it. And it wasn't even, me planting the seed of intention. It was just these thoughts that I would have. It's just, the stuff about, when you go to buy a new car, that car shows up everywhere. All of a sudden you see it. It's kind of like that. Things like I'd think about a song that I hadn't heard for years and then it was on the radio within the next 20 minutes. It was just all of these things kept showing up within a very short amount of time. And so in the last week when I was there, I thought I'd really test it and just see how far I could take it. So what I did was I set some intentions, 2 pretty heavy-duty intentions. The first one is, while I'm away, I'm making money. I don't need to be sitting at my desk or coaching people to be making money. Money just keeps coming in every month. And so, it's pretty comfortable for me to be over there and relaxed and not have to worry about that. But I thought, I'm going to test it. I set myself a money goal for before I got back. I thought in this week, I want to generate X amount of income and I want to be able to do that without any stress or working too hard. And so what I did was I just got in touch with a few women who I'd worked with previously. They'd done either a VIP day or a 1-hour session or something like that and just followed up to see if they wanted another session. That day, I generated another $5,000 in income just through reaching out. Now, some would say that's not manifestation, that's action. But without setting the intention, the way for me to go about that wouldn't have shown up. It's not something that I'd been thinking about because, it's pretty comfortable. I didn't have to go out of my way. So for me, it was purely that, it was the way showed up. There are any number of ways. And if plan A hadn't have worked, I would have moved on to plan B, plan C. Perhaps, I wasn't, as I said, I didn't want to work too hard, but that's what happened because I set the intention and then the way showed up and then I took action on it and it worked. The other thing was, I'm just going to backtrack. So what a lot of people tend to think, I think, about manifestation is that, they wish on it and then they think it's just going to turn up out of thin air. It's not the case. You set the intention and then the way shows up, and sometimes that turns up in the form of a contact or it turns up in the form of an idea, but you must action it. Without the action, it's not really happening. So the way reveals itself and you need to pay attention, and when it reveals itself, you need to take action on it, and that's how it's always worked for me. The other thing that I had said was, I've been dealing with some challenges personally within my family, and I'd set the intention that, I'm going to go home with this resolved. I'm not going to struggle with this conflict anymore. And I manifested this amazing woman in my last week. Normally I stay in Thailand for 2 weeks, and I decided I was going to go over for 3 weeks this time. So I hadn't met her in the first 2 weeks, and she was there in that last week. And it was an amazing meeting of minds. You know, she needed some help with things that I was able to help her with, and she definitely helped me. You know, her area of expertise and mine matched up perfectly. And I came home feeling very resolved, and I felt awesome about it ever since. You know, I didn't know how that was going to show up. I've been struggling with this for a very long time. And so for this to reveal itself was amazing, amazing. So 3 ways that you can boost your manifesting powers are these. The first thing is to declutter. So let's talk about business. Let's just keep it about business. So for me, when I'm wanting to manifest something, usually it comes to me in the form of an idea. So if I'm looking for my next, product launch or something like that, I just declutter everything. I make sure that my desktop is totally, I'm flashing, so excuse me. I make sure that my desktop is entirely clean, the same as my workspace. I empty my inbox, all of my files. I clean everything out, throw everything out, do all of my filing and all the rest of it. And I basically just clear the decks, because I know that when I've got free thinking space and it's free of clutter, then it makes room for ideas to come through. So I declutter, and then I set the intention. I very strongly set the intention about what it is that I want to achieve. It's normally not the idea. So it might be an income goal. It might be, usually it's something around the value of a launch. Usually it's, for example, this launch I want to make X amount, or this is the day that I want to launch on, and the ideal outcome for me would be to sell X amount of spots. So that I kind of work like that. So I set the intention, and then I wait for the way to show up, and it always does. So I don't get bogged down in how am I going to make this happen? What if that doesn't work? I don't do that. So I just clear the space. I set the intention. My next launch is going to be on this date, and I want it to generate X amount or have this many people on it. And then, as I say, I wait for the way to show up, and it always does. I pay attention. If I don't fill that empty space with stuff, buy a new program, or, find another project or get bogged down in something that I don't need to get bogged down in. If I just wait and go about my day and enjoy the life that I've created, the idea always shows up. Whenever I'm in a relaxed space and there's free thinking space, those ideas come up. So that's what I recommend. If you've been struggling in your business for a little while and you want to change things up, or if you've been thinking about starting a business and you just haven't got there yet, then do that. Clear everything. Make sure that your spaces are clear, your inbox is clear, your desktop's clear. Set the intention. I want to generate the idea. I want to generate my $1 million idea, or I want to create my first $100,000 launch, or I want to create an online program that's going to do X. Set the intention, very strongly set the intention. Without the intention, it's not going to show up. So then set the intention and then wait for the clues, because things will show up. That was a little long today. I hope you are having an awesome, awesome week, and try it. If you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling cluttered, start with the decluttering, and then in the midst of that, that gets the brain firing, and then you'll come up with the intention that you need to set, and from there, just let it show up. Have an awesome week, and I'll be in touch next week. Bye for now.